And finally, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has announced the date for the United Kingdom's next general election. Voters will cast their ballots on the 4th of July to elect 650 parliamentarians. The surprise announcement has come early as the election was expected to be held after September. Now, opinion polls show the Conservative Party, which has been ruling for 14 years, could lose to the opposition Labour Party. The economy and immigration remain the core electoral issues for the voters. Our final report explains what's at stake for Britain in this election.
And we will have a general election on the 4th of July.
Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has locked the date for the United Kingdom's next general election. Britons will cast their votes on the 4th of July. The surprise announcement ended months of speculation as to when Sunak will call a new vote.
Earlier today, I spoke with His Majesty the King to request the dissolution of Parliament. The King has granted this request, and we will have a general election on the 4th of July.
The 44-year-old Prime Minister said the British Parliament will be suspended and will be formally shut down next week. Following this, a 5-week election campaign will begin. The high-stakes gamble has come early, as the election was expected to be held after September this year. This would have given Sunak at least 2 years in office. He took over as the UK's Prime Minister in October 2022.
I hope that my work since I became Prime Minister shows that we have a plan and are prepared to take bold action necessary for our country to flourish. Now, I've stuck with that plan and always been honest with you about what is needed, even when that's been difficult. Because I'm guided by doing what is right for our country, not what is easy.
Now, Conservatives have been in power in Britain for 14 years, but this time they are widely expected to lose to the opposition Labour Party. Leading the way is Keir Starmer, the main opponent of Sunak, who could potentially become the country's next Prime Minister if his party wins the election.
But no matter what else is said and done, that opportunity for change is what this election is about. Over the course of the last 4 years, we've changed the Labour Party, returned it once more to the service of working people. All we ask now, humbly, is to do exactly the same for our country and return Britain to the service of working people.
Reports say Sunak's announcement was met with alarm by his party's senior leaders, who are concerned that their party could face an electoral wipeout. Pre-election polls suggest that Britons prefer Starmer over Sunak, with over 70% people having a negative view of the current Prime Minister. Starmer is not too popular either, but remains a favourable choice. Polls show that the economy continues to be the core issue for voters, with younger generations being concerned about the rising cost of living in Britain.
The Conservatives came into power when I was 9 years old, and since then the chances for me or my friends to even think of affording a house have completely evaporated, or the chances of us to afford to have a family have completely evaporated, and now finally feels like the first time where change is possible and we can start to turn the tide on that, which I think is vitally important that we make that happen.
Official data shows that Sunak's government has managed to bring down the inflation rate to its lowest level in almost 3 years. And the Prime Minister is looking to frame his campaign around the narrative of economic recovery. But the Labour Party has frequently attacked Sunak, saying the country needs more economic stability. Another electoral issue that Sunak faces is immigration and his controversial Rwanda deal, where he seeks to send Britain's illegal migrants on a one-way flight to the African nation. Sunak says the first flight will take off in July. However, the Labour Party says it will withdraw Sunak's scheme as soon as it wins a majority in the Parliament. Now, the election for 650 parliamentary seats will be the first time Sunak faces the public while in charge. The UK's last election was held in 2019, where former Prime Minister Boris Johnson won an 80-seat majority as he fought to get his Brexit deal through Parliament. Soon after, British politics faced an extremely volatile period. Johnson was forced to resign over a series of scandals. His successor, Liz Truss, lasted just over 40 days on the job before she quit over controversial tax and spending plans, paving the way for Sunak to become Britain's first Indian origin Prime Minister.
From impeachments to inaugurations, if it's a political story, we are on the scene. The race for the White House is heating up.
We're beating Biden.
How dare he say that?
If it's breaking news, we're live with the latest coverage. From the White House, the State Department, and Capitol Hill, we know the issues, but above all, we know the players to bring you the latest in-depth analysis on all the key stories that we're covering. I'm Eric Ham. Join me from Washington here on Firstpost America.